Hello and welcome, heroes, to the Crit Academy. I am your host, Justin.
I'm your co-host, Brandon.
And I'm your co-host, Ian.
This podcast was created to provide you, our heroes, with new and reusable material for both players and DMs.
We hope to inspire you with creative content. That
Can you put some emotion behind it? You're like, we hope to inspire you.
Could you not be a dick and interrupt them?
Yeah, we hope to
We hope to inspire you with creative content that you can bring with you on your next adventure. Hurrah!
Our show might not be suitable for young children, but neither is our D&D games.
That's so funny. My wife mentioned that. It's like, by the way, since it is Christmas, and you'll probably be talking about, in the realm and things, and you might have younger viewers, and they might, that have that belief. It's like, Crit Academy is not suitable for children.
It literally says that in like the first paragraph.
So if I mentioned that old fat Saint Nick isn't real, then you shouldn't let your kids
What are you talking about? He's our listener, right, Tate? Did your wife really said be wary of people who still believe in Santa Claus?
Yes, she did.
Yeah.
Well, I have a newfound respect for her. Does she still believe in Santa Claus?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure she don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Unless it's like
I know
Saint
this
Nick.
I know this sounds
Like
stupid,
Krampus.
but one the moments on my list of worst moments ever is actually the day I found out as a kid that Santa Claus wasn't real. Not because he wasn't real, as much as like, parents, you lied to me. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
My parents was a lot worse. They sat Emily and myself down. And they're like, listen, we're very, very poor. We do not have a lot of money, so we need to tell you guys something. It's like, what's that? We are Santa. Santa's gifts are bought from us.
And you ain't getting shit this year.
Because that was my first thought. I was like, okay, so you can't get us presents, but Santa will. It's like, no, you won't.
Oh, no.
Kind of the same vein, there's like a friend of my uncle's who, I'm not sure if he was joking, said for years as a kid, I thought Christmas was on the 27th. Because my dad was so cheap, he would buy all his gifts on sale on the 26th.
Snap. Oh my god. That's awesome.
That's genius.
I'm then going, I'm not sure whether he's joking or if he's not.
I start doing that with my kids.
It's a day late. That's pretty genius if you think about it. Let me know what you think of the honey cookies. That's the first time she ever made them. I like them because I love honey, but it definitely caught me off guard.
So much powdered sugar is going everywhere.
Yeah. Don't you hate it when white stuff gets everywhere?
Yes. I got drive in it.
Oh my god, leaving work. The only reason why we keep going off a tangent is because we have nothing to do afterward.
Anywho.
She never said. No, when we were leaving work, one of the HR people were like going, "Happy holidays, have a happy holiday." We're being PC here, happy holiday. And the shift supervisor was like, "Bullshit, it's Christmas."
Screw that pre-C crap.
Yeah.
Like, what about
I say Merry
Hanukkah
Christmas, and if you don't celebrate it, don't say it back. Simple as that. Not that I feel like you need to, but I'm not going to stop celebrating what I love.
Merry Kwanzaa?
Yeah, Alicia doesn't mind saying happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Something like that. Anyways,
What about Yule?
Yuletide Carol. Thanks for joining us today here at Crit Academy Studios, where we're always on topic.
Never.
No, sarcasm hurts.
Thanks for joining us here today at Crit Academy Studios, where everything's made up and your roles don't matter.
That's right. Euro's like a D&D game without any skill challenges.
That's one of the things I miss about 4E.
Well, then you're really going to like this episode.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
It is cool. We got a really great show for you today, but we like to start off. We like to start off every show off on a high note. Every week we give away fat loots, free adventures for people who sign up at or subscribe to our website at critacademy.com. Our first giveaway comes from our sponsor, Goblin Stone.
And today, our winner is Chris Brown 04.
I don't have the music cued for that.
Well, play that funky music, wet boy.
Chris Brown, he can play the module with Rihanna.
The title of the new song is Black and White. Black and Blue, sorry.
Oh.
Oh God,
I hope we're gonna cut that out, right?
probably. Congratulations, Chris Brown 04. If you enjoy the adventure, please leave Goblinstone a review. And if you enjoy the adventure, please head on over to goblinstone.com and leave him a review. Or, that's not right, not Goblinstone. It would be...
That's Goblinstone, isn't it?
Yeah,
I know, but that's not where the review gets left. It actually is on DM's Guild. Whatever.
Yep.
If you enjoy the adventure, Chris, please leave Goblinstone a review. Help him improve his product moving forward.
And, Tater, I get that reference. Boot to the head.
Yeah, that happened a lot.
Getting
as a
into
kid
first
to me.
hit, boot to the head. You missed. Yeah, well, I got a dentist appointment I gotta go to. You too shall be honored.
You too shall be honored. Okay. What have we learned today, students? First off, Master, none of us are as strong as you are. You have gained wisdom.
That's funny. We got a really great show for you guys today. We have a question submitted to us by Michael R. in regards to roleplay immersion. Our main topic today is skill challenges in 5e, and of course, we'll close the show out with our Unearthed tips and tricks, where we bring you new and reusable material for you to bring with you on your next adventure. But before all that, we spend a few minutes talking about what's going on in our realm. Brandon, what's going on in your realm?
I got days off. I'm enjoying work, and I went to a family Christmas party yesterday, and my mother-in-law got me a 9x9 Rubik's Cube.
You should see this fucking monstrosity. Oh my God. Look at this thing. You guys on camera? This thing is freaking huge. I mean, it's like it's a budget one, so don't move it because I was twisting it. He's like, it'll pop apart. It's pretty dope. You got this cool pattern in here.
I'm actually really happy because the average 9x9 is like 2 inches bigger than that.
And every inch matters.
Yeah, you can't get your hands around it if it's too big.
Oh my God.
Ian, how about you? What's in your realm?
Well, I'm actually will be headed into Ohio this week for family Christmas on my mom's side. Like every 2 years or so, and this is one of those years, obviously. My extended family actually rents out a Salvation Army summer camp and just basically crash there for a week.
Oh, that sounds cool.
So I actually know my second and third cousins as a result of stuff like this every year.
And I have to be honest, it's important to know your second or third cousin, because when you don't, you end up in really weird situations that actually happened to my aunt. So just, yeah, you should take time to appreciate that for a moment.
I still can fill in the blank. You know, I probably don't want to.
Yeah, no, don't.
You done fucked up right there.
Who?
You're like, oh, that's dope because he gets to go see Weird Al, but his next comment is, but your mouth is a perfect fit. Your mouth is a perfect fit. That's dope.
And when you say dope, you do make a round shape with your mouth. Dope.
Dope. Hey. Oh.
Do you remember when Kurt, we used to hang? I don't know if you were ever in the car when we drove around with Kirk, but he would headbang. But instead of it being headbang, he would do it with his mouth open and go back and forth, and we would laugh. We would laugh so hard because it looked like he was giving a blowjob to an air elemental.
Pucker like a donut and cluck like a chicken.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Oh, and I also won 2 Keyforce shirts this week. So
yeah, you won them.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Was there only one other competitor?
8
Oh, that's not bad.
in both cases.
Yeah, you're actually gonna teach me how to play after this. I don't know if Brandon's gonna stick around.
There's one other competitor and he can't read.
That's not what that does. So I'm excited to try that. I put that on some of the starter set on my Christmas list, so we'll see if I get it.
Right. And Justin, what's going in your realm?
As of this recording, Christmas is a few days away. This probably won't come out until like January, but
July. July. If we were only that far.
Yeah, I know, right? So I'm preparing for that. I've been spending a lot. I'm on vacation now for the next week and a half, so I spent a lot of time working on stuff for the show. But I've been playing the shit out of the Spellbreak pre-alpha. I am loving it. I have put way too much time in that, and I got authorization from my wife to drop $80 on it, even though it's not out yet. And then I've been playing a lot of Final Fantasy 14. If you like Final Fantasy 14 or you play it, you can find me on the Malboro server. My name is Galleon Windgrace. So, yeah, I just got some fat loots as my healer today. So now I started leveling up a tank. Dark Knight's pretty dope. Getting a lot of amazing amazing ideas from streaming. I've been streaming on twitch.tv/Crit video games and taking some of those ideas and writing notes. I know Brandon was over Saturday and we were taking some notes for ways to, D&D ideas right from the games that we're playing. And I've come up with some pretty golden shit, man. So I'm super excited.
Okay, Tywin.
Who?
Game of Thrones fan gets it.
Yeah, I'm not a Game of Thrones fan. Sorry. Sad face. So yeah, that's really what's going on in our realms.
Gold crap.
I think that'll do it for in the realm. Oh, yeah, I think that'll do it.
Tywin Lannister craps gold.
I don't remember.
Anyways, if you, I want to thank everyone who has purchased our Unearthed Tips and Tricks book. If you have purchased it, please take a few minutes out of your day and go leave a review on DM's Guild. That helps push it up to a more viewable audience in addition to the sales. So please do that. Even if you don't write a review, at least leave a rating. Every little bit helps. So thank you guys very much for that.
Just a little bit.
Yep. If they'd like to visit other reviews, how can they do or blah blah
Reviews.
I think that'll do it for In the Realm. If they'd like to visit other realms, how can they do that, Brandon?
They can visit our website at critacademy.com, and we have a link to Audible that you can click where you can get a 30-day free trial and a free book with that trial.
Yes.
Yay.
I love my Audible. Like, you know how much conversations I get out of by having one earbud in, listening to Audible instead of listening to a conversation of not importance to me.
What?
Just like that. See, just like that.
This is great. I'm looking at our book on DM's Guild. We got 4 5-star ratings and 3 5-star reviews so far.
Yeah, that's a start. So, reach out there. Tater says, "I will review this week since I am not working." Yeah. By the just so you guys know, it takes like a minute to leave a review, and it takes less than 10 seconds to leave a rating. So, so we love you. Do that.
So I was going to go on there and be like, well, I'm spending 10 seconds on my day to do this. I'm going to give you a 1 because you told me to.
Yes, please leave a 5-star review. If you're going to leave a 1, don't bother reviewing.
And the review says, 1 star, don't tell me what to do.
Bitch.
He's got to read it first.
All right, so that'll we already did that. So moving on to our next topic, we have our Let's Talk About Blink segment where we answer Crit Nation feedback. This week's question comes from Michael R. Guys, I got a question on roleplay immersion. A fighter likely wouldn't refer to himself as a fighter, but instead maybe a warrior or a mercenary.
Or a soldier.
Would a sorcerer or wizard go by? What would a sorcerer or wizard go by if not their class name? So I have my own thoughts on this. What do you guys think about this?
Well, a sorcerer can pretty much see themselves just calling themselves as a sorcerer. Because, well, they're a freaking sorcerer.
Right.
Chris Angel.
That's a mind freak.
I love that show.
Don't you dare.
Hey. What?
I thought you were about to read my notes for myself in there.
Is that what those are?
Yeah.
I always think mages in general.
Fucker.
But the notes you wrote down, though, I actually had some more thoughts, too, so...
Yeah.
I was a user of the craft, or maybe someone who can tap into the ethereal. I don't know. Those are more descriptions than phrases.
Actually, it was a sorcerer in particular. I can see themselves calling themselves a blood magic user, since that's where their magic comes from, their ancestries.
Ooh, I like that.
Blood magic.
Blood magic user. I like that. Personally, while I agree with Ian that sorcerers probably just call themselves sorcerers, though the blood magic thing's pretty cool. When it comes to a wizard, we kind of already do something. We don't call wizards that dabble into necromancy wizards. We call them necromancers. So I can see wizards in this point calling themselves based on whatever their school of study is. You know, a conjurer, an illusionist, a transmuter, or a blade singer. I mean, to me, that's what I feel like they would refer to themselves as, not as a wizard personally. And I think that extends beyond just like wizards. Same thing with like rogues. I don't think they consider themselves rogues. You can also kind of go with the archetypes at this point, you know, yep. A thief or a assassin, but also a cut purse or a burglar, you know.
Burglar.
So and that could be something that should be an ongoing trend throughout your campaign, because we refer to classes as the mechanic. That's a game mechanic for us. But in a world, commoners specifically are going to not know the difference between a warlock and a sorcerer and a wizard. They're just going to be witches and mages and, using, wizard and sorcerer interchangeably. They're not going to really be able to tell the difference. Magic is magic, and that's about it.
That actually makes me think of a scene from the first book in the Sword of Truth series, where like some villagers do show up to a old hermit's house who the guy is a wizard. We're gonna burn you because you're a witch! Okay, first off, I'm insulted by that comment because first off, a witch is a woman. I'm clearly a man. And second of all, if you want the male version of witch, they're called a warlock. Fine, you're one of those. Okay, I'm a wizard. And that still insults me because I am not a warlock.
That's funny.
Oh God.
I can go on, but you get the idea.
Yeah, I agree 100%. So
I'm just munching into one of these cookies here that your wife made.
Oh my God, isn't it fucking an orgasm in your mouth?
It's like the delicious fairy just came in my mouth. So
yeah, it's fucking phenomenal. It's peanut butter cookie with Reese's Pieces and actual Reese's chunks, like the mini Reese's.
Did you hear that? He likes your wife's cookies.
Oh yeah, well she is fucking amazing. And I mean by fucking sex.
Another thing you can go with is if you're a wizard and you only use fire magic, calling yourself a pyromancer would be pretty fun too. Or someone who uses ice being a cryomancer.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
I agree 100%. So, to any DM or any player, think about that stuff when you're playing your character. And somebody says, "What are you playing today?" I am playing a pyromancer. That's far more specific than I'm a wizard or I'm a sorcerer. They know instantly that you love fire, And once again, that can also rub off to nicknames and stuff that the NPCs you interact with call you as well. So, this is a great question. I really like it. It's something that I hadn't never really occurred to me, So, thank you, Michael R., for your submission. We hope we answered your question today.
Ooh, or if you're like a monk who's unfortunately playing the elemental monk archetype. So are you? I'm a practitioner of the flame of the fire fist.
Ooh, I like that.
I am a fire dancer.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Wait, no. I'm a practitioner of the fist of the phoenix.
That's fucking dope. That is really dope.
But phoenixes don't have fists. Shut up.
Apparently, Ed says we're getting 5 stars, one for each copy he bought. Oh, I just shit myself. So that'll do it for our Let's Talk About Blank segment. Michael R., thank you very much for your submission. We hope we answered your question. If we didn't, please send a letter to the complaint department with some cash attached. We take money orders and checks as well, but checks bounce. So
Fighter, what are you? I am an English nugget.
Oh, that was almost too close to a very...
That's what I was saying. Did he just drop the N-word?
Nugget? What the hell even is that? Oh, there goes our 2 listeners.
If you saw the money from the Holy Grail, the French taunters.
Oh, okay, that's where you got it.
You English nuggets.
All right.
In French, you silly king.
That's really good.
I fought in your general direction.
I do remember that.
What are you doing in England? Mind your own business.
Who are you? I am your king. What? I did not vote for you. I pulled the sword from the Lady of the Lake. That is not a way to
strange women distributing swords is no business for a government.
There we go. All right, so moving on.
Strange women lying in ponds distributing swords. It's no basis for a government. There we go.
Yeah, I haven't seen that in like 10 years.
Too long.
Moving on to our main topic today, we have skill challenges in 5e. This is an amazing product, and written by. This is an amazing product written by R.P. Davis. If you've listened to the show, you've heard me touch on before skill challenges. While D&D 5e or D&D 4e usually gets a bad rap,
unfortunately,
for no other reason than it was different than its predecessors.
It was very different from its predecessors.
It followed more of a tactical format more than roleplay, and a lot of the abilities clearly focused on that aspect,
which I loved.
And a lot of people did. That the people that played it for what it was, a tactical board game, was pretty much what it was.
And I think honestly, a lot of people who hated 4e just kind of got on the bandwagon without actually looking at 4e first. Right.
And arguably one of the best things to come out of it wasn't undoubtedly skill challenges.
And I do have to, on a side note though, the biggest complaints I heard I've heard people make about 4E was the fact that like you can't roleplay in there or something equivalent to that. It's like you don't need a game system to roleplay in the first place. The game mechanics has nothing to do with it. Stop making up excuses.
Yeah, but I think their point was that it doesn't actually give a lot of information on what to do.
But you don't need a lot of information for what to do for roleplaying.
If you've played roleplays before, you don't. But for people that are just beginning, it was definitely less roleplay because there wasn't rules really established very well for that.
But I think the rest of it was that you don't really need rules for roleplaying.
Yes, but okay. So
yeah, let's stay on topic here.
What is a skill challenge?
Yes.
Simply put, a skill challenge is a series of skill checks by multiple characters where a certain amount of successes spread across multiple skills and characters and must achieve before a set number of failures, right?
Yep.
And so this gentleman, R.P. Davis, actually went through and created a document on DM's Guild, and we have a link to it in our show notes, that actually kind of gives you guidelines for using those skill challenges in 5e and kind of how to build them. So we're going to kind of work our way through these and kind of discuss them a little bit and kind of talk about what some of the things he did or how he's got this set up. So I guess the first question is, Ian, why even bother with a skill challenge?
Well, skill challenges are great when you want to just have a multi-step process or deal with a problem that requires just more than one person to contribute to the situation.
Right.
Like one example we use later on, let's say like you're in court.
Yes, that's a good example. I've used it before.
Like one person's a lawyer, one person is a witness, another person is their individual presenting evidence, and so on and so forth.
Yep, and then each set of roles determines whether you win a condition. Like if the person is the prosecutor and is arguing, it's a contested check, right? And okay, I won, so we get a success. While there's
objection.
Overruled, bitch. Sit down.
Who wants to be his lawyer? Shoot, I'll be his lawyer, Your Honor.
Where's that from?
Cars.
Oh.
Another example would be tasks like talking around a skeptical noble, shoring up a roof. Shoring up the roof of a mine, sneaking across a city, winning a court case in the example you just described.
Trying to skip a death trap.
Or tracking down a criminal, among many other things, especially when it comes to things like gathering information, right?
Ooh.
Skill challenges are a good way to do that quickly.
Ooh, brewing potions.
Oh, I hadn't considered that. I usually
Dangerous
just
potions.
Kaboom potions.
Yes.
Are there any other reasons why you would use a skill challenge aside from what we just touched on, Brandon? Are you following along?
Yes. 5e has group checks. Yeah.
Yes.
But it often can't always accommodate a complicated activity.
Yeah, that's another one.
And another point we're going to touch on too, though, is the fact that most XP that is by default awarded in game is awarded for combat and nothing else. They don't really tell you anything for anything that's non-combat, such as for role-playing opportunities or skill challenges in this case.
Right, and using skill challenges, this book actually gives you templates for how much experience could be passed out and assigned to skill challenges, so that you can reward players for complex solutions without combat.
Ooh.
In a good balanced way, instead of just giving them not enough or too much.
A skill challenge for trying to forge a magical sword.
Yeah, that's nice, dude. That's dope. Write that down somewhere. We can do something with that. Oh, dude, I could write like a couple page book on crafting a magic item with something like that. Oh, derailing.
Not hard to do.
So there's a lot of good reasons why you would want to use a skill challenge, because yes, for instance, if you're trying to sneak in somewhere, you can just consecutively ask for, give me a sneak check, give me a stealth 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 check. Okay, I've given them all these stealth checks. What are the failures for those? Instead of trying to figure out what the failure is for every single one of those, you could create a skill challenge that then says, okay, I want him to give me, 5 skill checks He has to succeed the team has to succeed 5 times before failing 3 times. And then you as the DM can set those conditions for each of those levels of potential failure.
And I believe what's coming too is when you use the same skill multiple times, the difficulty rating for it goes up.
That is something. I don't actually think that's something that he specifically covers.
But that's totally how it worked in 4E.
Oh, yeah. But you also have a bigger range of skill sets or like stats.
Theoretically.
And here, this one, you have the bounded accuracy system. So what goes into running a skill challenge? Well, similar to normal checks, but you're allowed multiple skills to help determine success. Now, as we go through this, our encounter today actually is a skill challenge from one of the 4E books that we're going to actually role play through. We'll discuss the mechanics, and then we'll actually role play out a segment I'll post, and we can read through it. It's pretty dope. So basically, you allow the PCs to when running the skill challenge, you allow the PCs to leverage other skills that can affect the game in a way that wouldn't normally be applied. Like we were talking about sneaking into a facility a few moments ago. What other skill sets could you use besides just stealth? Because traditionally, somebody would just say stealth.
Deception.
Deception's a good one. So I'm going to distract this one. So I'm going to go over here and distract this guy over here, and that'll grant that might grant a success on our stealth. So if somebody else running across the field fails their checks, it kind of offsets that sort of thing.
Or whatever equivalent you can have to engineering or arcana or I can go on.
And basically, as the DM, you're keeping score and tallying successes and failures, right? As the game progresses, right?
What do you mean, do I have an invitation? What do you mean I'm not on the invite list?
I forgot my invitation and I'm late.
When running the skill challenge, the goal is to allow checks to resolve scenes as they happen, and each resolution builds towards a larger goal in some way or some shape. I'm actually going to open this up. Oh, that's the actual book. I'm just going back to my show notes because I don't want to read directly from the book. But so skill challenges are useful in their core when you don't know that you've triggered one.
Mm-hmm.
We always call for a check, and the player knows they're checking for something. If they know that they are in a skill challenge, and this is experience from 4E. As well as Davis actually touches on this. If they are aware they're in a skill challenge, they're going to try to focus on only using skills they think that will help them instead of actually getting creative. So if you can, try to keep the fact that they've rolled into a skill challenge kind of under wraps in a way.
That's got to be hard.
It is, without telling them.
So I remember we were playing in 4E and you'd have us roll 3 checks and I'm like, this sounds like a skill challenge.
Right, and that was more of a failure on my part. I wasn't as good. I wasn't as well planned as I am now.
But how do you hide it?
Well, it doesn't. It just depends on the scene. You describe as you roll through the scene and describe. Let's go through an example here. So your goal is to get into this noble's house and swap out some paperwork, right? Falsify evidence. Mm-hmm. You're not to kill anybody. You're not. Your goal isn't that. So it becomes a different kind of game, right? Your goal isn't to just, okay, so I could say, well, give me a stealth check. Oh, you got a 20. Oh, you just fucking lollygag and stroll right in, you swap out the paperwork and you leave. That's not really all that interesting. But if you say, okay, you guys get to the walls of the nobleman's house, you can see lanterns running across the tops of the walls and you see guards patrolling. Give me a perception check, Ian.
Okay, roll an 18.
As you're, I like what you did there. As you're observing, you actually start to see a pattern, and you notice that there's a potential opportunity for you guys to scoot across towards one of the lower parts of the excuse me. Lower parts of the wall, and you actually notice that there's a pattern to the patrols. So if you can get there in time, you can manage to climb over without being undisturbed.
And are the documents already forged, or do we have to forge them ourselves?
What's that?
Do we have to forge the documents ourselves, or they're already forged?
Ooh, see, that would be so. That could be another part of the skill challenge. Maybe that's the start of it. Is you're forging the documents,
and maybe instead of rolling, you roll of all things, a deception dexterity check.
Ooh, that's weird.
Is that where you
Try to
know you can make the jump, but you purposely fail?
No. You try to copy the document and falsify it, but you use your dexterity so you can match the handwriting.
Ooh,
Oh.
I like that. See, I didn't think about that. I would have used sleight of hand, which I guess is still
Sleight of hand would work
dexterity,
too,
yeah.
but yeah.
But so you actually started a little earlier than me. You went through this process, and so now you've got several layers. You've rolled to get this document written. You've rolled to find a weakness in the defenses. You've rolled to an athletics check to get over, and then maybe another sneak to sneak in. So now, let's say you manage to fail the athletics and you try to climb up the wall and you fail, and now you create noise. You've just created a new layer of difficulty. So that's a failure. That's considered a failure. Now, because because it's a skill challenge, let's say we've decided it needed 6 successes before 3 failures. That first failure on the athletics track is drawing attention to the guards, but doesn't mean you failed your job yet. In some cases, the DM might say, oh, you've attracted the guards, you're now fighting the guards.
What was that noise?
Instead, you get something like that, and they have to overcome that. Either they engage in combat, which might draw more, causing them to fail, or they have to create another distraction, starting a fire on the other side of the area. Maybe a sorcerer points his finger and loosens a firebolt and lights a tree on fire, creating a distraction so they can escape. And so as you're working your way towards, so now they've got a couple successes and a single failure. So now you have to set up as the DM the next challenge. What is the next thing they have to do? Well, the one opportunity that they had is gone. Security's a little tighter. Now how are they going to get into it? Well, we can't just climb in before without hurting somebody, and our contract says we can't. So now maybe we have to do something more along the lines of bribing one of the guards. Man, I'll be right back.
Guard bribing.
So yeah, there's bribing guards, lock picking.
Lock picking.
That would suck as a failure.
Ooh, maybe the fortress you're trying to penetrate has like a magical defense of some kind, so you have to use Arcana to bypass it.
Ugh.
Ooh,
Nice one.
or maybe if it's like an old fortress or a castle or something, throwing history.
See if there's an alternative entrance or an escape tunnel
Right,
you can get into, something like that.
like
or,
tapping some sort of lore.
or using other players even to make a distraction. Like, oh, there's a fist fight going on, and what kind of guard's not going to want to see that?
Yep. Fight, 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 fight.
You remember last time he left? You sure? Because that was me. I was shitting up the storm up
Yeah,
here
you
last
were.
week.
Okay,
So I had to leave.
So anyways, as the skill challenge advances, because we're not just doing a pass-fail condition, there's different levels of failure. And he kind of we'll get more into that. So, so the other thing to keep when running one of these skill challenges, the other thing that RP Davis talks about is not just skills, right? We've spoken on the show about draining player resources. Skill challenges are a great way to do this. Encouraging the use of spells from casters is a good way to do that. If you can find a way to convince a wizard that it's better for him to use a spell slot on knock, is that a first level spell? It's not a cantrip.
I don't know.
Just use Mage Hand. Would that work too?
Well, it depends on what you're trying to do.
Or prestidigitation.
Right. You can.
That's
It does.
probably better.
The point is like setting alarms. Right.
Yep.
Alarm is a spell. Right. It can consume a spell slot. So making challenges that while they can get them by with more mundane ways, encouraging players to consume their spell slots and resources, trying to overcome these challenges, also is a powerful tool for weakening them without actually entering combat.
That made me think of one. I know I used it as an example a while back, but in the webcomic Order of the Stick, when they came to a bridge that's being guarded by 2 trolls, halt! In order to use a bridge, you must pay the toll. The fighter rolls a bluff check. But we paid the toll yesterday! Oh, I guess it's okay then. You may pass. But then what ruins it though was the bard in the back decided to use bardic inspiration, and then the loot was streaming, bluff, bluff, bluff a stupid ogre. And the trolls heard that.
That's funny.
Of course, they were parodying game mechanics at that point in the webcomic, so.
pushing your allowing your players to consume their resources can lead to other effects, like whether it's an auto success, right? The bigger the resource they consume and the more sense it makes narratively, you might just grant a player an auto success. For, in this case, let's say you fail to get into the wall, so the wizard decides to cast Alter Self or Disguise Self or some sort of spell that allows somebody to just walk right in, right?
Dimension Door.
So that's going to drain their combat capabilities, but might automatically grant them a success. Now, as a DM, you can also say, okay, instead of it granting an auto success, maybe it grants advantage on a check of sorts. You know, like on Disguise Self, maybe when the character that's got Disguise Self walks up, maybe you grant advantage on their deception check when they're trying to get in. If you decide you don't want to just go with an auto success, because that might be a little too much depending on what kind of difficulty you're going for. Another thing is if you're doing skill challenges over a long period of time, where the player can recover slots, like long travel, this should only ever grant like advantage, because you don't want to grant them auto success if they can just keep guaranteeing them a success. When working your way through a skill challenge, Brandon, is there a specific order that should be followed? Do you think that matters?
Well, while there isn't really any order needed, it's advised to try and keep some sort of organization when doing skill checks. This can ensure that everyone gets to be included when possible.
Yeah, a good way to do this is just following initiative. If you've got initiative rolls, you can just have them follow initiative. Now, don't be locked into that. Just be if one person has a good idea and nobody in your offering turns to other people out, but nobody else has any goals or ideas, you can allow other people just to go multiple times. But you want to find a way to encourage the use of every single person's skills. In the examples we've just talked about, we focused on pretty much 3, right? Deception, stealth, and athletics in the sample, but that's not the only thing. There could be investigation to find secret passages, right?
Yeah, we were talking about earlier when you're walking around, like history could be an example of that.
Oh yeah, that would be a great one, because maybe somebody has learned certain lore of the area, that there used to be an underground, portcullis with a Sally gate and shit that went out and was runoff for for like the plumbing or the well or some shit, and your player can say, "Oh, I lived in this area. Can I know anything about this castle? It's pretty old."
What do you say? We don't say crap. We're in the sewer. All we say is crap.
What really sets a skill challenge apart from just continuous skill checks is the way you narrate the completion, right? When you set up when you just decide on the fly to do a skill challenge, because usually those are pretty much on the fly, right?
They can be.
For most of the part, you just kind of, the player wants to do this is a skill check. Skill challenges are usually thought out in advance in most cases. And because of that, you want to, regardless of the significance of the pass or fail condition, there's always something pushing the story forward. With skill checks, you usually say, okay, you're going to try to jump across this pit. You're either going to make it or you're not. And some DMs might say, well, I'll give you a save too if you do fall, But for the most part, in a skill challenge, you've decided, okay, if they pass, and actually we'll get into this with talking about planning the challenges, but you get to decide what the success, failure, and the tie is, if they get somewhere in between. And that really is what separates it apart, and it helps you drive the story forward, which is important. And is a good alternative to combat, right? Mm-hmm. You can have an entire night of just skill challenges, and how they play out is entirely up to the players. Though I have been in skill challenges where the players just came up with a creative ass solution. I'm like, fuck, that works, and just move on, Oh, excuse me. I think I'm getting a little stuffy nose. And actually, I just kind of talked about the narration should take into consideration the level of success. Did the PCs blow by the challenge? Yeah, I already kind of talked about that. Or, did they just narrowly pass? Ensure that whatever you narrate as the DM reflects that.
Yeah. And
raising stakes.
And shoot, you never quite know what solutions people will come up with to use your skills for. Like, let's say you're stuck in like an Indiana Jones style, like rolling boulder situation. Like, I roll a flask. Okay, you try to roll flask the right. Screw that! I'm a barbarian. I'm gonna shoulder check the boulder.
Let's see who struck harder.
I'm gonna black with my face.
So in any narrate, since this is this is much more narrative than this is very narrative driven. So I think we should talk about raising the stakes of the skill challenges.
So we're doing here sirloin, T-bone,
Steaks.
Dude, I just had an amazing filet mignon, and it was awesome.
We know.
There was so much blood on that, it reminded me back to...
No! No!
No!
Brandon,
every dramatic thing that happens in the game should have some kind of stakes, whether it's positive or negative.
skill challenges.
Yeah, with skill challenges. Formalize those stakes while giving you a vehicle to resolving uncertainty surrounding them. That didn't sound right.
Resolving uncertainty surrounding them.
Yeah, surrounding them.
You want to read that sentence again?
Yeah, sure. Skill challenges formalize those stakes while giving you a vehicle to resolving uncertainty surrounding them. A success should have a positive impact on those stakes. A failure, whether a particular scene in the challenge or the entire challenge itself, should impose a hazard.
That's important.
Yep. You feel that the skill check affects the stakes situation? Then well done instead of medium well.
A good example, if you've listened to the episode of that I ran with some friends a while back, I think we called it the Crit Academy Trial, I think. And what it was is one of the parts of the run where they were in this room full of lava and there was acid, there was like stalactites that fell from and created these kind of platforms, and it was entirely a skill challenge. That's all it was. And as they failed or succeeded their challenges, something in the environment changed. Whether, the platform you are jumping to has broken and is toppled over, you got one less platform.
Is that the game where Marie jacked up her teammate?
Yes.
You must escape through the area that filled with liquid hot magma.
You ever tell you about that?
No.
What?
Oh, what she did. Then she used some sort of gust of wind to help someone cross two pillars and fucked it up by doing it too much.
Ryan, she was trying to give Ryan a boost, and it didn't go well, and she gave him too much a boost, and he got pierced in one of the stalactites in the ceiling.
She Mortal Kombated his ass.
It's pretty funny. Damn. So when it comes to planning a skill challenge, it's pretty easy to roll up your own skill challenges. We mentioned earlier that one of the big difference between 4E and 5E is they have the bounded accuracy system, which means you don't have to worry about scaling DCs very much, right? You can keep DCs relatively similar and not have to worry about whether it's going to be too hard or too easy of a challenge when it comes to 5E. Which means take...
that term. Scallenge.
What?
God damn it. You tripped on your words when you were saying skill challenge and you said scallenge. We should TM that.
I don't know what the hell's wrong with me. Too much candy.
Many things.
Sweets.
Skillenge.
I forgot where I was at. So it's pretty easy to run your own skill challenges. I said that with the 4E and the 5E. You can do it without really a whole lot of difficulty. It is important to add as much variety as possible, though.
Yep.
Nobody wants to do the same damn challenge all the time. And it's as simple as just reflavoring the features and the abilities that can be used. As a DM, when you are planning out your skill challenges, you want to take into consider the obvious. What kind of skills you expect to be used. If you're in the middle of a diplomacy, a discussion or negotiations, there's a few things that you automatically are going to come into play. What's number one?
I can think of a lot that could be number one.
Persuasion.
This one.
Deception.
Yep.
And intimidation are probably the top 3 that I would expect in a chat, in a talk, discussion kind of format, right?
Yeah.
That being said, as the DM, you can kind of plan that out and then say, okay, what are some other skills my players have and I can expect them to use, and what kind of benefit would it grant?
History, Arcana.
Right. We're gonna get into that with our encounter today, which is
Nature.
really cool. So a really good example is social challenges revolve around some. Oh, I just kind of talked about that. You know, you got those same 3 things because it revolves around flavor, influence, and you know, discussion. So those are the sorts of abilities you're going to use.
Barbecue sauce.
If you're running a skill challenge where you want hazards, like in the example I gave with the lava, everything the characters are trying to do is physical, so you can kind of assume, oh, if the wizard's got flight, he's probably going to use it. If the barbarian can rage and grant athletics, he's probably just going to jump across the lava pits and the jumping from God, I can't talk right now.
You know,
Jumping from platform to platform.
You know what would be great is if the wizard used what was it, Tensor's floating disc? Is that the name of it?
Tensor's floating disc.
Tensor's floating disc.
Yeah.
And they're doing that, and they're hovering across a lava pool, and they come across a field that's dispel magic.
I wish I would have thought of that.
And they're just like, oh!
That's actually a good example.
They're running across the hot floor. Hot.
But that might be something as the DM I might not have thought of. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I would be like, that's a creative ass solution, you know, to the problem. And you have to react to that. For something like that, I would grant like an auto success for one try. Fuck up my challenge with that shit, goddamn wizards.
I'm gonna cast magic wall. It's actually make a ramp.
You know, when it comes to hazards, like for instance, we mentioned the magma, but if you're in a mountainous area and they're climbing and they fail the check, well, they could fall, or they could pull a boulder loose and a goddamn boulder fall to the person below and knock them down. How bad is the player gonna feel if they fail the check but somebody else gets punished? You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's a really dick thing to do, but that skill challenges allow for stuff like that.
I'm picturing Homer Simpson falling down that cliff. Ow!
The next thing DP Davis gets into is complexity. In 4th edition, complexity was really big. There was like 6 or 7 or 8. How many? I don't know how many teams. I don't know how many tiers there were. There was a lot of them. Actually, I think there was only 5. There was like 5 different tiers. But in 4E, we already have a base system of difficulty of 3, don't we? We got easy, medium, and hard DCs. That is more than enough to drive and decide how you want to set up your challenge. If you want them to run an easy challenge, that is pretty much they're going to succeed, but it's going to cost them something, right?
So rare.
Rare.
Followed by medium, then well.
Oh, man, I got to get some more tissues in here or something. You guys going to cover that up if you're not going to eat any more of it, please? I get more tissues in here when I get a chance. So
Straight up.
when you're planning out your skill challenge, if it's easy, you're basically planning on them succeeding with little or no cost. It's guaranteed pretty much success, but you're going to drain a resource. Medium, the skill challenge are interesting stakes. Regardless of success or failure, the outcome is going to lead to a narrative direction that pushes the story forward in a positive way. Now, a hard skill challenge make for great stakes on player agency, according to DP Davis. When the players try to avoid other challenges, like using skills to avoid combat encounters, a good hard skill challenge is a good reward for that, right?
Thorg would love this conversation.
Oh yeah? Why is that?
Because he's Thorg and he likes steak. That was a great character you made too.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
My favorite aspect of him was how he does not understand common.
Right.
Wait, what?
He didn't understand common.
Thorg didn't?
Yeah. He often would mix up the meanings of various words and come up with something completely different.
Oh, that's how that worked.
Tube steak is his favorite.
That doesn't work anymore because when I worked at John Henry's, there's a meal called tube steak.
That's a thing?
Yes, they roll up steak into a tube.
That's weird.
That's where tube steak came from, just as that they associated it with cock. So
big flatty meats. And one of the final things that this supplement touches on is determining success. Now, I mentioned it earlier. When we use the example of 6 successes before 3 failures, you get kind of a range of potential successes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say they don't get any failures. They get what DP calls a total victory. The party succeeds and gets the rewards of the challenge. That's it. They've done it. There's no penalty, whatever. And then let's say they manage to get one failure. Then you get something where it's a partial victory, where the party succeeds, but there's a cost attached to that success.
Like, they managed to swap the documents, but one guy gets spotted, and he's now wanted.
Ooh, that's a good one. So, yeah. So, that's a really good one. I like that. So, now that they're looking for that guy, wondering why he was in there at night.
Yep. But the portrait's badly drawn. So, the hope will bear that as him.
They always get my nose wrong.
Ryder. And then, of course, failure. The party doesn't get anything that they want, and the situation may probably become worse. And that's really... You're more often than not going to come across success and partial success than you are failure. But those are the things when you're planning out a skill challenge you have to keep in consideration. And that was a really great example.
Yep.
In that one, a total success would they snuck in, they got in, they swapped the document, no problem. Partial success is they swapped the document, it was written really poorly, and somebody was detected. So maybe there's a chance that the document is recognized as a forgery, and that person that was caught was to blame.
This isn't the original treaty. How can you tell? It's been written in crayon.
And there's barbecue sauce on the side.
Barbecue sauce. So this supplement God damn it. Where's my cursor?
Up there.
So this supplement by R.P. Davis really gives you a lot of guidance on building those skill challenges, which in my opinion are a great alternative to combat and a good way to deal with exploration and more social style encounters. And I recommend it a lot. I have kind of used it in my 5e games, but I don't let it be known mostly to my players at all. I don't even know if you've ever noticed you've been part of skill challenges, but
Yeah.
God damn it.
But because I played 4E.
Whatever. But it's a very powerful tool. Brandon, you are kind of excited about it. What is it you really love about skill challenges versus just skill checks?
That it can completely split the story into 2 different paths, maybe even multiple ones.
And I like the fact that each skill challenge, whether each success or failure, builds off of each other.
Yes. I don't know what the fuck's wrong with me. I was fine all day.
Like I like a skill challenge where the outcome could be you're finally going to catch up to this person to interrogate them, and you've been going through this entire mod all night, and the skill challenge is going to determine whether or not you're actually going to catch them.
Right.
And if you don't, you can be like, well, we're going to have to come back next week and try again. And
Yeah.
try and track them down, all that stuff. But I like the idea of not being completely railroaded.
Very much so. I don't know why, but that made me think of like the trailer they did for Hitman 2 with the Sean Bean.
Hitman. The only trailer I remember seeing for Hitman was with the nuns.
Yeah. Which was controversial for some reason.
Sexy nuns. It's like, oh, that's controversial, but sexy nuns on Halloween isn't.
Well, the Hitman 2 trailer basically opens with like a Sean Bean, where he was playing as a former spy turned assassin, who was famous for apparently dying multiple times, but surviving.
All right.
The most Sean Bean role ever. I just like the fact that they make fun of his career.
God damn it. Excuse me.
Round 1. Fight.
All right. I'm going to send some. So that'll do it. God damn it, Justin. What the fuck? You know, I did nearly burn my house down. It was full of smoke. Maybe breathing all that finally got to me.
Okay, an allergic reaction to something.
I don't know. All right.
Should throat feel tight?
Don't. Why are you offering to open it? Because I feel like that's where that's going.
No, it's not. What the fuck?
What?
You just saw that?
That.
Oh.
Yeah, it's disturbing.
Merry Christmas. As he goes to the chimney.
Anyway,
All right. So that'll do it for our main topic today. Skill challenges for 5e by R.P. Davis. This is an amazing supplement, and it's only 95 cents. So check it out. It's worth every penny, especially if you're looking for good alternative ways to run interesting encounters that aren't related to combat. So
The fuck?
I buy that for $1.
open up that link that I just sent you.
I did.
So
That's
you
where it
got
took me.
Look for. Where'd it go? It should have sent you the.
Try it again.
Hang on. I don't know why it sent you there. God damn it.
Circus afro, circus afro, pucker that afro.
Really?
You guys are so
I'm a
funny.
big mean Russian cat.
Let's try that again. Try that one. That might work. So that'll do it for our main topic today. Before we move on to our Unearthed tips and trick, we have one more gift to give away. Compliments of Loresmith.
I call Duke.
Brandon. No, I'm the DM.
I said I called Duke.
Okay. Brandon, who's our winner today?
I don't know because I opened up this file you just gave me.
Well, it's right here on my page. Just look.
Oh, it is. That's right. I read that ahead of time.
God.
Our winner for the Lawsmith Prize is Elemental JJ.
All right.
Oh, how cute. He named his. Oh, shit!
Congratulations, Elemental JJ. If you enjoyed the adventure, please head on over to loresmith.com and let them know what you like. And leave them a review.
And let him have it.
Let them have them.
I can maybe squeeze that out. Yeah, right there.
Moving on to our... Did I already say that?
No.
Moving on to our fourth and final segment, we have our Unearthed tips and tricks segment. We give you new and creative content for you to bring with you on your next adventure. Our first UTT is our character concept, the Necrobotanist.
Dang right.
We're doing this after?
Yeah, it's
was
the
it?
encounter.
Oh, right.
Because I'll describe the encounter and then we'll actually read through it, how it would,
Duh.
how it'll role play out. So in episode 74, we discussed the botanist as a potential character concept.
Mhm.
And this kind of jumps off of that a little farther. In this build, you're reflavoring a lot of the wizard's necromancy spells, in such a way that's related to like plants and flowers and trees and branches and all things nature. So this could be a really good spin on the wizard, taking maybe would fit well with like the hermit background or the outlander background, and gives your wizard something different than the traditional went to school and studied, and that's kind of his thing. So when the character summons minions like skeletons or zombies through magic, instead of as they rise, you kind of describe them as plant vines twisting and forming and making muscles and ligaments inside of the creature, where they get little flowers that have like that kind of grow in the eye and glow, like something that, like a firefly or something. And everything about the creature is basically just a set of bones that are being supported by a plant creature. So it's more of a plant creature than a traditional undead, giving them a very monstrous look with like whipping tentacles and stuff like that.
Oh,
Thorns.
great. Now I'm thinking about that one dude from the Black Company.
Who's that?
In the Black Company book series, there's like a one wizard in particular, the Limper, who they killed multiple times, but he always kept on coming back.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the times he came back, they thought they killed him once and for all because they decapitated him and burned his body.
Wow.
But then his head was then found by some cultists who basically created like a Wicker Man like body and put his head on top of it.
Oh, that's dope.
And like, oh crap, he's back! What does it take to kill this guy?
What's funny is a Wicker Man body. It's just like they burned my body, and you reanimated me with a wooden body.
It's
Why?
like a burn easier.
Why would you do that? I have a fear of fire now.
This is really cool because something that gets overlooked with like skeletons and stuff and zombies is that everyone just automatically assumes that the weapons that they have are always the same. By using this kind of flavor, you can easily work with your DM and have the weapon that they wield be a piercing, their damage be piercing or slashing or bludgeoning, depending on what kind of monstrosity you create in this form. What are some other kind of necromancy features that we could maybe reflavor to fit this kind of theme? It's right in the notes. Just pick one if you don't got your own ideas.
Oh, Grim Harvest.
So what's another necromancy feature that somebody could reflavor, and how would they could reflavor and really keep with this this build?
Grim Harvest would be a great one.
Oh man, why don't you tell me about it?
Yeah, your spells leave small black and purple flowers that absorb the life energy of your foes, feeding it to you through vines into your body.
That's really cool. That's the one that lets you heal when you kill something, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
That's pretty dope. What kind of other spells could we reflavor that might fit this theme, so you can keep this kind of poison ivy almost like build, right? That's kind of what I'm thinking of as poison ivy now, right?
Oh, yeah.
From Batman, if you don't know who poison ivy is.
Batman.
Kiss to kill.
What kind of other spells do you think you could reflavor to just give this a little more flavor?
Maybe like Tasha's Hideous Laughter, but you trigger the spell with like spores.
Ooh, that's a good one. I like that.
So it kind of creates like a hallucinogenic effect.
Yeah, like the Joker uses the little squirty flower, but instead of it being like a juice, it's like a pollen.
Yep.
That's cool. I like that. Sniff my lapel. Squirt, squirt. One that comes to mind to me, and one of my personal favorites, is Find Familiar. I can easily see reflavoring, like my favorite's Owlbama, right? So I use an owl. Reflavoring a skeletal owl to have like leaves as wings and little like tendrils hanging from where its feet would be, and like a bird of paradise type feel.
Mm-hmm.
Obamacare is all natural now.
That's
oh my god,
that's really good. I like that. Another good one that comes right to mind is fog cloud. Instead of the area just being filled with a fog, maybe it's a really thick, dense pollen. Maybe it's your favorite smell. I love lavender. Like when I take a bath, I love lavender. It's just phenomenal. So like you describe, the explosion of pollen that creates a heavy, thick cloud and smells of lavender.
Oh, it smells so good, but it hurts so much.
Do you guys got any others before we move on?
Not top of my head.
There's Cloud of Daggers.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Bulbasaur. Could be a cloud of razor leaves.
Bulbasaur use razor leaf.
or when you cast like various wall spells, so like a trim hedge mate appears.
Ooh, that could be cool. Yeah, like using shield and like hedges and bushes and shit up here to absorb it. That's pretty cool. All right, so I really like this. I think this really is a cool build and kind of jumps off of that botanist idea.
That made me think of a meme I saw online one time of a druid panicked with some guards were showing up in his middle of an open field, and he used he basically polymorphed into a tree. the guards came by. Was this tree always here? Roast bluff. I've always been here. Well, I guess a tree would know better than us.
That's funny. So I think that'll do it for our character concept, the Necrobotanist. Ian, would you like to tell us about our monster variant?
Alright, the monster variant we have here is the Spore Zombie. And the origin for that is the Ogre Zombie. New feature. The morning star that the monster normally wields is actually just a bramble of heavy vine branches. Add some thorns in for extra flavor.
Oh, nice.
And he also gained defensive spores. When a spore zombie is hit by an attack, it can use its reaction to launch toxic spores at a creature, dealing 3 poison damage to one creature it can see within 10 feet. Are you sure you have not played The Last of Us?
What? No, that's the spore druid effect.
Because everything I've read so far reminds me of like one of the boss monsters from The Last of Us.
Well, that just means what I thought of isn't very creative. That's all I hear. Thanks for like making me feel like shit, Ian. I appreciate
Well,
it.
you've done other concepts that made me go, this looks like the clickers from The Last of Us.
Never. I don't need. Is that a book or a movie? Or
Game! For the
It's a game.
oh,
They came out for the PS4, but they remade it. No,
sounds like a horror flick.
it is.
I don't play games like that.
Well, they came out for the PS3, but
get
then they
scared.
remastered it for the PS4.
Oh.
It's good.
I only have like 3 games for my new PS4, so
It's kind of like Resident Evil, but without as much pop-out scares kind of thing.
yeah. No,
Yeah,
I don't
it's-
do games
and it's
like
got
that.
a jacked up ending, so
It's not really scary, though, as much as like suspense.
Yeah, I don't like that either.
Another ability it gives is the sleep pollen aura that I can use once per day, where it has a 15-foot radius of toxic pollen that extends out from the spore zombie, which moves with it and spreads around corners. A creature that starts its turn in the pollen must make a DC 12 con save. On a failed save, the creature suffers the effects of the sleep spell. If the creature's saving throw is successful, the creature is immune to the zombie's spore aura for the next 24 hours.
I guess I probably should have put like a time on that.
Maybe.
Yeah, I would say that would probably last a minute, but I didn't put that on there. But that's okay.
Although you could just use the same duration as a sleep spell, because it's affected by the sleep spell.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. But it's yeah. Anyways,
Actually, the radius thing made me think of a brief debate I saw on one of the D&D pages on Facebook. Like, okay, you have a radius of 15 feet. How do we draw that out on the map? And people, of course, went back and forth.
Oh my god.
Oh, you saw it too?
Yeah.
And they had to like the pals on the feet. People like, well, we just use these like area things that we use in Pathfinder. I'm like, that doesn't work. Those are drawn for Pathfinder, where they double count every other diagonal.
Yeah. No. It's funny watching people argue on stuff that JC has already given an answer onto and is in both the book and the Xanathar's guide.
Yeah, I've lost count how many times where people argue with me. What? But that here should be in a circle. I'm drawing it as a square.
Yeah.
But it should be a circle. It's a square grid, dude.
And honestly, you guys, it doesn't fucking matter. Whatever.
And
As long as you're all on the same page.
And am I wrong?
No, I don't know. I don't care.
I'm like, we're not playing Warhammer. We use a ruler and draw a circle.
I did find out just recently that I've been doing Thunderwave wrong for like 5 years.
Whoops.
Yeah. You know it doesn't radiate out from you in all directions?
No,
You didn't know that, or you did know that?
I did know that.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know that. I always just assume fucking Dragon Ball Z, send your hands out and everything out going all directions. But that's not how it works.
Nope.
It's more like you hold your hand out in front of you and fucking fuck shit up in front of you. Anyways, so what do you guys think about this this monster?
Sounds fun to me.
Yeah,
I like the idea that it poses a threat even when you're attacking it.
Yeah. You get punished for attacking it.
Yeah.
Up close.
Is that what it says? Just says when it's attacked.
It says if it sees a creature within 10 feet, they gets attacked.
Well, I guess that would
So
be most
it doesn't
of
necessarily mean it's going to attack the attacker,
Right,
but they could throw a spore at one of the others.
right. It's very cool. I've been playing around with some stuff like this. Obviously, with the 2 monsters, I kind of went with the 2 concepts. I went with kind of a botany feel, but I like this because I'm always looking for more monsters in swamps and in forest areas.
We're professional phlebotomists. You want to see my stamp collection?
What?
Maybe if we were a philanthropist, smart guy. Philatelist.
God, I don't know what the hell is wrong with me today.
Many things, apparently.
So that'll do it for our monster variant, the spore zombie. God damn it! Now I got the hiccups. I just can't win today. I just want to die.
That can be arranged.
Oh fuck you!
No, shut up.
All right, so earlier in our main topic, we talked about running skill challenges. So for our encounter of the podcast, we have a skill challenge pulled right from the DM's Guide 4th edition called the Negotiation. Now, the setup for this is the NPCs. The setup is for the NPCs to provide assistance. The PCs need to convince a noble of their trustworthiness and that they're there to basically help the NPC in any way possible. So the first thing you end up doing is you set the level of difficulty. In this case, it's medium, which means 6 successes before 3 failures. And then we set 3 primary skills, which would be deception, persuasion, and insight, right? You could also argue intimidation, but actually for this particular skill, intimidation, will not work because you're in the court of a noble's house surrounded by guards. So it's not something that's encouraged, and actually you'll learn is punished it. So some of the examples that are given are if somebody says they want to make a persuasion check, and I think this is good for another reason. Not every player likes to role play. Not every player can role play well.
No.
They can't just bust out a whole bunch of line of bullshit to fit the thing. So they can just say, I make a persuasion check. So in this case, they say, I make a persuasion check.
I roll to intimidate. Okay, but what do you say? What do you mean what do I say? I roll to intimidate.
Yeah, and that should be fine. So as a DM, in this case, for persuasion, you would say, you entreat the NPC for aid in your quest. First success with this skill opens up the use of the history skill. So in this one, if they succeed, we now allow them to utilize another feature to help grant them a success. And in this way, you could mention something in some event in the NPC's past that has some significance for him. Another example would be insight. You empathize with the NPC and use a knowledge to encourage assistance. So the first success on this reveals that any uses of intimidate will earn instant failures. So this is your players learning as they go without actually necessarily having to do all the role play involved. Now, without having to do all the role play involved. Now, don't let that stop you from allowing them to do that, but you can just feed them what happens. That's what you're supposed to do as the DM anyway. So we also have a quick description on what happens when they win and what happens when they fail. Specifically for failure, the characters are forced to act without any assistance from the NPC, in this case the Duke, and they encounter more additional issues on the way, especially if they anger or antagonize the NPC. So you've got some examples. So we're actually going to read an example and go through it how this should play out at the table.
I call the Duke.
He already did that a
called
few
Duke
minutes
already.
ago, so you're
Dibs.
shit out of luck.
But yeah, I was laughing when you said roll for intimidate because I imagine a fighter's rolling on the ground.
So I'll take Garrett.
I hit. But I want Garrett.
Okay, you can have Garrett. I'll have Kartha and Elias.
Okay.
Who needs Barid and Uldar? We can just I'll just point to you guys.
Okay.
I'm doing Uldar.
So here's you can do Uldar and the Duke. Just do different voices so it's clear. So we're gonna do an example of how a skill challenge typically plays out or should play out.
Okay, I'm going to handle this with diplomacy. My good Duke, if you grant petition for our aid, it will not only help us complete our quest, but it will also secure your duchy from the ravages of the Goblin Horde for a season or more. Surely you can see the sense of that.
So, and this is where the DM would call for a diplomacy or persuasion check,
And gets a success.
and he gets a success.
Well said. I do remember the Battle of Cantle Hill. Nasty business.
In this example, the DM informs the player that the history skill is now available because he just mentioned to you something, right? He said he gave you information of the Battle of Cantle Hill and that it was nasty business. So the players now understand a little something. I'm trained in history. I make a history check to see what I know about the battle, and I get a success. Who's the DM?
You.
I just thought, okay, you were the Duke. The Duke should be the DM. Fine, whatever.
Oh.
So,
you know the Duke fought in the Battle of Cantle Hill before he rose to his current station. It was a terrible battle between the people of the Duchy and a horde of goblins from the nearby mountains. The Duchy barely won the day, thanks in large part to the actions of the Duke.
Did someone say goblins?
Well, then I tell the Duke that I remember the tale of that battle well, and how he bravely fought off the goblins and saved the Duchy. Help us today, and such a battle won't have to be repeated.
I'm listening. Continue. The DM says that Cathra's response is worth a +2 bonus to Elias's check.
So this, in 5e, you could just do advantage, right? Who's Eliza?
I forget they did the +2, -2, and
You mean-
4th.
Oh, Elias?
Yeah, why don't you take that?
Alright, I get a +2 bonus. Awesome. I'm going to use it to help our cause with a well-placed bluff. Duke, I know for a fact that the goblin leader is raising an army, even as we speak. If we don't enter the mountains and disrupt that army, the goblins will soon overrun the duchy before the next moon rises.
And this, you would then call for a
bluff
a
check
bluff check or a deception check with a bonus.
with advantage.
And you got a success.
An army. I won't sit by and let history repeat itself. Still, you are asking for a lot.
Enough of this talking. It's time for action. I try and intimidate the Duke into helping us. Look, Duke, the goblins are the least of your worries. Agree to our demands, or we might have to take what we want.
He makes an intimidation check, unaware that such an action is an automatic failure. And the Duke.
How dare you? I will not be threatened by the likes of you.
Uldar.
Okay, calm down, everyone. We're all friends here. I emphasize with your desire to protect your people, Duke, and I assure you that we want to accomplish the same thing. But to do that, we really need your assistance.
Makes an insight check and gets a success.
Yes. Well, I do not respond well to threats and intimidation.
The DM explains as an aside. Is that aside?
Yep.
The DM explains as an aside that such attempts always gain a failure.
Still, as long as we understand each other, let's continue.
At the end of the round, the PCs have achieved 4 successes and 1 failure. The skill challenge continues.
So that is a walkthrough of skill challenges and how they should work. And I'd also like to note this gives a really good push to players out there how it should be when you request a skill check. If you're capable of, follow it up with rationale to what you're doing. Now, that's not required, but it certainly makes the game a little more interesting than just saying,
It helps.
I intimidate. Now, once again, there's nothing against the rules or nothing against that sort of play, but it definitely certainly helps. And if that is the case where you are that person, don't be the person that gets stuck up with how the DM decides to handle it. You're just going to intimidate? All right, you raise your blade and attempt to swing. Oh, I wouldn't do that. Well, you just said you intimidated him. You didn't give me nothing to go on, so that's what you get.
Roll on the floor.
Yeah. So that is. What did you guys think of this this skill challenge?
I think it's a good example.
Well, I hope so. It's literally the one out of the 4 ebook.
It almost sounds familiar.
Probably because it's out of the 4 ebook, and I've read it before.
Yeah, that's probably where it came from.
I read it before. So that'll do it for our encounter of the podcast, the negotiation.
This magic item was great because I read this email
Did you?
at lunch the other day, and it was all quiet, and I just went.
Okay, one quick sidebar. If you guys read something, it unchecks it. Either notify me or, especially in an email, mark it unread, please.
Okay.
I missed some stuff, and I found it stumbling across something else, and I realized that somebody else must have read those, and I wasn't aware of it. So just keep that in mind.
Facebook checks it if one of us reads it.
Yeah, it's no longer marked, right? Like, so if you read it,
Yeah.
I won't see it, and I've missed a few things because of that. So if you do get something, like I poke at you, I say, hey, there's something for you every time you get something. And I'll just, because it's, if you're gonna copy it and put it into a folder or something so I can find it later, that works too. But if not, it's important that I'm aware of that. Anyways, Brandon, would you like to take our magic item?
Yes. This magic item is from PJ. Justin and I recommend some Alka-Seltzer plus cold medicine. I swear by it when I'm stuffed up.
Oh, thank you. I will probably try something when I get in the house.
Oh, yeah, I'll just do Deckard.
Today's magic item is brought to you by PJ. It's an Irish kilt. I have a magic item suggestion. It's called the Irish kilt. It appears to...
Exactly.
And it appears to be a plaid green kilt with a red crisscross pattern. It radiates enchantment magic, and when you attune to it, you are forced to wear it until unattuned. It has 3 charges. While wearing it, you can use one of the charges and an action to do an Irish jig and give up to 5 creatures within 15 feet inspiration, or 10 temporary hit points. There is a curse to this item, however. If a creature rolls a natural 20 on an attack against the wearer, or the wearer rolls a natural 1 on a save, the wearer must roll a D100. If the amount is lower than the wearer's HP maximum, after suffering from the effect that activated this trait, then the wearer must use their next move action and bonus action to do a non-magical jig in place. This kilt regains 1d3 charges at dawn, or 1 charge per bottle of beer drank.
Shouldn't that be whiskey?
PJ, that's great. If Irish, it's solid color. If plaid, then it's Scottish.
Grenadier here.
Tomato. This guy says he's Irish, so that's not a racist magic item at all. That's what he said. I didn't add it here, but he's like, trust me, this isn't a racist item. I'm Irish. I was like, I don't think it matters if you're
White
or Irish. If you say something racist, it's still racist.
I agree. But a lot of times, it seems still like a double standard to me, where you can make a stereotype against anybody that's white and no one cares. But the moment you make a stereotype against somebody that is not white, you're suddenly racist.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Well, that's because I am
But you get what I'm saying.
racist.
Tate, do you have a clan tartan? Then he should know they don't have kilts.
So he says
Kilts.
it's a dress. I don't care what you say.
Fuck you.
What do you guys think of this magic item?
I love it.
Another thing about Groundskeeper Willie from The Simpsons.
Yes. While you wear this kilt and you rip off your shirt, you instantly have abs.
Oh, you get to wear Wallace. That's awesome.
Did you guys ever notice that? Like,
Yep.
Groundkeeper Willie's got like a big belly until he rips off his shirt and then he's buff. I assure you, when I rip off my shirt, it's still the same.
Yep. Edmund Lass, brothers and sisters are natural enemies.
Yeah, yes.
Like Englishmen and Scots, or Welshmen and Scots, or Japanese and Scots, or Scots and other Scots.
What the hell?
It's,
Dang Scots! They ruined Scotland!
Tate, I know who William Wallace is.
Yeah, I think it's hilarious that he felt he needed to tell us, AKA Braveheart.
Because I'm Scott too. I have my own tartan.
You're like a penny's worth of Scott.
I really want to take
Does that even count?
Yes.
what's that website? Ancestry.com's
Yeah.
DNA test. My grandparents got it for Christmas, so that's gonna help a lot too.
Oh, nice.
Got
But-
what? Scottish?
No, they got the DNA test to find out where they came from.
Mm.
Because my grandfather says, "Oh, I'm part Native American." Well, we're gonna find out. But unfortunately, the people who had any ties to knowing my Scottish background are dead now. So,
Ancestry.com.
but I know that the last name Gray came from Scotland.
Seems awfully plain. Was it just like, hey, look at the color of our kilt. Let's just go with that.
Kinda. The actual Gray tartan looks like ass. The hunting tartan for the Gray clan, though, is green and magenta.
Christmas colors?
Magenta, not red. It looks awesome. And I want it,
Sounds
but
like Christmas kilt.
the name Gray is under ancient and rare clan
Santa
tags.
Claus in a kilt.
You shut up. The name Gray is under ancient and rare, so getting a tartan is very expensive. The average kilt's like $300. It'd cost me $900 because they have to make it.
Okay.
I told you, yeah, Gray is Scottish. I see it every time I go into like Got Kilt or when I go out in Frankenmuth. They got all that Scottish stuff. It's like, oh, here's pendants. I'm looking through. Okay, let's see. There's Grant. There's Gray. And every time I go to get like a Gray keychain or something like that, it's not fucking there.
Should try just getting a regular white and black one and just
I have a Hamilton.
combining them so
I have
they're
a
gray?
Hamilton Gray kilt.
Okay. Well, that's exciting.
But anyone can
I love this magic item. I love the fact that
Penis.
you have a chance to waste your action just dancing. Because I feel like that would happen at like the most inopportune time. Like half the players are down, you're the last one standing, and fucking the boss is bearing down on you, and you're like, it's time for a jig. And the fact that you can recharge it by just downing booze is pretty fantastic. So this is a pretty cool item.
And actually, that item also reminded me of the web series The Awesomes. and they were a dysfunctional superhero team. But the villain for one episode was a villain whose name was Whiskey Dick. And his power was he was Irish. In the sense of he drank so much alcohol that people became drunk just being near him.
Oh man, that sounds like an awesome character concept. Bleh, just belch and people get drunk. Yeah. All right,
Pretty much.
that'll do it for our magic item, the Irish kilt. Thank you, PJ.
You know, I think would make a great magic item. An alcoholic beverage that makes you so wasted, but whenever you talk to other people that are wasted, you understand exactly what they're saying. Even though
it's
others
like a
don't.
universal language translator. Can you do the Robin Williams Scottish or the Irish?
What?
That scene where he's like, do you know why I like the Irish? You can't understand them before. He starts like rambling. You can't understand him. You haven't seen that?
No.
How have you not seen that?
Is that in one of his
That's
stand-ups?
just before he leads into the golf bullshit.
No, I just remember the golfing thing.
Is that Irish or Scottish? Maybe
I
Scottish.
got an idea for a game.
I knock a ball into a golfer hole.
You mean like pool? Fuck off, pool!
Not but the whole hundreds of yards away.
And I put the little flag at the end just to give you one shred of fucking hope.
I think he says a wee bit of hope. He goes, we go there, we put the little piece of flat glass with a little tiny flag to give you fucking hope.
No, we put shit in the way. And you sit there, hack away at tall grass. You do it so much, you feel like you're gonna fucking die.
You're gonna have a
Or
stroke.
you're gonna have a stroke. That's what we'll call it, a stroke. Because every time you miss, you feel like you're gonna fucking die.
What does he say, like pool? And he's like, oh, you don't use a straight stick. No, you use the fucked up straight
Little
stick.
fucked up bent stick.
God, I haven't heard that in years, but I still remember it.
Kate, what do you say? Look at USA Kilt. Is that like a site?
Guess so.
Sounds like a
actual thing?
porno.
What?
Yeah. USA kilts?
USA
kilts.
Kilts. USA?
USA kilts.
Yeah, that's one of my New Year's resolutions this year.
To get
What?
killed.
Not to get a kilt. I
To
got
orgasm?
I've got 3 kilts, but none of them are mine. No, I want to train for the Highland Games for next year's Renaissance Festival.
You better start benching. Don't you gotta like throw a tree in that?
Or rocks. Really big rocks.
It's a 19-foot 6-inch pole that weighs 175 pounds.
Well, you should take it from Ed's uncle, William Wallace there. And the size of your rock doesn't matter if you hit him in the head with a little tiny one and they can't throw one back.
I was watching the Nationals, the actual end game.
Yeah.
These guys were throwing 30-pound rocks like 50 yards.
Oh, Jesus.
and it wasn't like a, huh! They put it against their face and they go,
Vaulted.
I'm like, holy shit!
All right, moving on to our Dungeon Master tip, because we've been talking for 15 fucking minutes on this stupid magic item subject.
You get shoved by that guy, he can just rip you in half.
Our Dungeon Master tip of the podcast is informing your players of skill challenges. Now, I know this kind of contradicts what I said before. In a combat encounter, the players already know a great deal about how to overcome the challenge that you've set in front of them, right? They know that they got to kill the monster and the monster's got to die and they've got, hit points and all that jazz and they have to overcome it on their turn or whatever. That's simple. Additionally, they know exactly what happens when they hit or they get hit or they know how combat works. They know as soon as they're in combat, this is what they got to do. Skill challenges are different and more difficult in some cases. When the PCs are delving into the Underdark, for example, this is actually an example right out of the 4E DMG, in search for a ruined dwarven fortress of Gozar Dune, they don't necessarily know that the game is being abdicates that search, so unless you inform them somehow. So they don't know what earns them a success and what causes them a failure in terms of the challenge you've just set in front of them. And this goes for any challenges you are running. So you can't really start a challenge until the PCs understand that they are a part of one in some cases. Excuse me. This also means, you basically have to give them the nudge to start it, right? For instance, as a DM, you might say, all right, you can use athletics check to scale the cliffs, but Be aware, on a failed check, you might dislodge some rocks, and those on some of those. That must be where I got that idea.
Yep.
Clearly. I thought I was quick on the line thinking of that, but I must have, because I put this together earlier. It says, you'll use an athletics check to scale this cliff, but be well aware, on a failed check, a rock might dislodge, and some of those rocks might come smashing on your friends below you. So if the PCs are now aware of the conditions of a success and a fail, you've basically told them. Because you don't generally do that, right?
Nope.
You don't usually say, all right, if you fail to pick this lock, it's going to break, or the guards are going to come, or somebody's going to open the door and shoot you, you know? You don't usually tell them. By saying that in such a way, they understand now that there's a huge risk. There's something at stake now.
Okay, here's what's gonna happen. We're gonna take the duct tape off your mouth, and you'll start screaming. And then we'll pretend to shoot you. And then you'll stop screaming. If you don't stop screaming, well, then we will shoot you.
Likewise, if the PCs are trying to sneak into a wizard's school, for instance, tell the players your magical disguises, the deception skill, and your knowledge of academic aspects of magic or arcana, are the keys to your success here. You're basically letting the players subtly know, or not so subtly, what kind of stuff they need to be focusing on moving forward. I think in some cases that's more important than others, and I think that is determined by the nature of the scenario. In this case, sneaking into a wizard school may not be as obvious as trying to cross a room full of lava pits, you know, and breaking apart stalactites that are now platforms. That's a little more obvious. I don't think I would have to tell you that you're entering a skill challenge, that there's going to be serious risks involved in that scenario. But in some situations like the breaking and entering, you probably will. So keep that in mind when you're running skill challenges.
That'd be great. They're like, okay, you're going to go into the wizarding school, and you're going to use disguise self. But you failed the skill, so you're still wearing a decent disguise, but you're wearing the wrong crest.
That's the sort of stuff that's important to be able to think of on the fly or plan out ahead if you can.
Dang, Hufflepuff! What are you doing here in Gryffindor Tower?
It's like you're visiting...
The damn stairs redirected me here.
Fuck this castle.
I just want to go pee. Where's the bathroom? It's over there, but the wall and floor is moving, and there it goes. I'm going to shit myself.
Did you eventually find the restroom? I found a window.
Somebody comes up. What happened to you?
Yes, I did find the bathroom. I'm here in Gryffindor Tower after all.
We'll check out the pics after the stream there, Ed. He posted some sample.
I
images.
did. It's sexy as hell.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
All right. Anything else? You've played a lot of 4E, so do you have anything else in regards to enhancing the skill challenge experience and informing the players?
Well, like we said before, don't be afraid to let the players come up with a very non-standard use for some skills. That would actually make sense in some situation. They come up with a reason for it.
Right. Yeah, I agree. And don't bottleneck them into only using certain things.
And as they even mentioned in the skills section in 5e, don't be afraid when you use skills to not necessarily use the ability that the skill's attached to, as long as they can legitimately explain why.
Yeah, like Intimidation's a really great example. It says it's a charisma base, but I can definitely, as a player or as a DM, see Ian saying, "Oh, I'm going to do an Intimidate check. I'm going to smash the hell out of that table." All right, you give me a Strength Athletics check.
Or Strength Intimidate check.
Yeah, okay, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Strength. Give me a Strength Intimidation check.
Yep.
And that's really important when it comes to skill challenges.
Well, how are you going to intimidate him? But by using the fact that I'm 6'7" and weigh 350 pounds of all muscle.
That has been passed down from the Armstrong family. Yeah.
I attempt to break the table. You roll, you hit it. The table's made of steel.
Or you hit a knot.
Oh!
Shit hurts. All right, that'll do it for our Dungeon Master tip of the podcast. Informing players of skill challenges. Boop, boop. Don't be super obvious about it, but let them know. Our player tip of the podcast is...
Don't be a dick.
And you can avoid dickitude by using an alias. Now, I recently played a rogue, and for the first time in a very, very long time, I don't generally play rogues. at all. Not that I got anything against them. It's just I like other things, but whatever. And I actually had a blast. Thanks for John for running the game. He actually needed us to test some magic items for him.
Yes, he did.
And during my character creation, it occurred to me that no self-respecting assassin, thief, thug, or otherwise, who works in the underground for hire would ever give their real name. This is not something I've never asked my players, and I don't think anybody that's ever played a rogue had ever discussed with me wanting to create an alias. So during the game, I introduced my character with several different names. Do you remember this?
Yes.
Like, it was throwing Jam off, and then Troy's just like, does anybody else realize he's introduced himself as a different person every time he's met somebody? If you're going to run an underground group, make sure that you flesh out a good alias. Or several different aliases. Go beyond just a name. Give it the character a persona, a unique feature that really stands out when you're doing it. Like, for instance, if I wanted my character Vin to go as Phyllis, she pulls her bandana down on over one eye, so she looks like she's got one eye. So that, to me, is a good reminder as the player that I'm now a different alias, but also gives a physical trait for the other players and the NPCs and the DM to latch onto.
All right, Kiro, do your thing. Okay, pull the bandana. Kiro, where'd you go?
Just disappear. Oh no, it's the outlaw, Phyllis.
Okay. What? I'm not the outlaw. It's me, Kiro. Kiro, you're back.
Your alias should just be something to protect your character from all the baddies, because you could always then argue that you failed in something underground and they're sending some people after you, and the DM says, well, they're looking for Phyllis, they're not looking for Vin. So they only ever can only ever capture her or target her when she's, dressed as somebody, another one of her aliases. And I think it makes for interesting role play opportunities. If I'm a thief and I'm stealing in my downtime, and wanted poster shows up of me with my eye patch, time for a new alias. I am no longer Phyllis. What was the name of the stupid tank's name originally in Red vs. Blue?
Sheila?
It is now Sheila. Wait, I thought your name was Phyllis. Name overwritten. You may now call me Phyllis.
Well, that's how that happened.
And so to me, this is actually something important. Now, I feel like it's probably more important for a character like a rogue or a hired bounty hunter or something. But I think this could still be applied for anybody. Maybe you're that wizard with the really high schooling debt, and he's changing his name so nobody comes and asks for him to collect it.
Harvey, I'm here to save you from Two-Face. Ah, Two-Face, you're here! What'd you do with Harvey?
Just turning it. He's got one of those two-way mirrors that you turn left and right and you see his different sides.
Yep.
I got those in my bathroom.
Okay, Batman. You keep seeing this up. What are you saying this on? Harvey, it's you! Okay, was he from this side? Scary face!
What do you guys think about this player tip?
That's a good one. That makes perfect sense.
I think it'd be fun, but I also think it'd throw off the DM hardcore if you don't tell them ahead of time.
Yeah, it kind of threw Jom off a little bit.
It's like, okay, this NPC knows you as this one. This NPC knows you as... What was the other alias again?
And you're right. That might cause additional challenges for the DM, but you know what? They've got so much work. What's a little extra? I think is there anything else you guys want to add to that?
Nope.
I think that'll do it for our player tip of the podcast. Don't be a dick.
We
can give it a little more energy than that. It was kind of low.
I know we're trying to avoid dickitude, but this seems to be the exact
opposite. This is our player tip of the podcast. Don't be a dick. And you can avoid dickitude by using an alias.
If you do it right.
I only work right. Before we close out, we have one more gift to give away. Compliments of Jeff Stevens. It's the Madhouse of Tasha's Kiss now. Ian, who's our winner?
Is that a 1 or an I or an L?
That looks like an L.
It looks like you try to spell I'm master to none but fail.
Yep. One master to none. One master toin? One master... I don't know! That name!
I master to Owen?
Toin?
Toan?
To un... Jared.
It's spelled like noun, but the first N is replaced with the T, so it's like town. But then you don't spell town right.
I
because
Mr.
it's got a
Town?
W in it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm Master Tuan.
That name.
Toan.
Yeah.
Who's our winner today, Ian?
I Master Tuan.
I'm not gonna play the music. All right, let's just bob our heads a little bit.
Aw.
Are you let down?
Yes.
A little bit.
Okay.
He just played it from where it left off.
Yeah. So, Tate, if this is like your history, is this like get your beard stiff?
Where you go?
Or when my shipmates and I tried doing that whole Irish metal band or Scott metal band,
Is that what that was?
and
I just consider that an accident.
I was talking to Ryan. He's like, man. So how'd you come up with the music? How do you get that done? And he goes, making Irish, Scottish sounding music is really fucking hard.
You know, the other day I was watching some like John Oliver stuff just for the heck of it, and one of the
Love
ones I
that
watched
guy.
was when he was doing like Scottish independence. It's like now one problem of the Scots going independent is they can no longer use the pound, so which means they have to use a euro, which is really unstable, or go back to the old Scottish currency, sheep and physical violence. I offer you 3 sheep and I punch you in the face. Take it or leave it.
Tate says it turns my kilt into a tent. Is that what that says?
Yep.
Congratulations, I Master Town. If you enjoy the adventure, please make sure to head on over to DM's Guild and leave Jeff Stevens a review. Let him know what you like, what you didn't like. If you're interested in experiencing this awesome adventure, we actually ran this for our patrons, and you can find that at twitch.tv/CritAcademy. I recommend you check it out. It was a hilarious run and a lot of fun. Oh, you know what I didn't talk about?
What?
I ran an amazing adventure with some patrons in a rando on Saturday, and it was fucking hilarious. Joe is an absolutely genius when it comes to roleplay, and oh my god, it was amazing. We ran Jack Frost's Christmas story,
Oh, that one, yeah.
and it was glorious. Have you heard any of the stuff that's written on that?
No.
I'll show you afterwards. It's written in Christmas poem.
I remember that one.
All right, so
Poem.
that'll do it for our show today. Please join us on our next episode where we hear feedback from you, our heroes. We will be discussing Little Heroes, a D&D supplement and guidelines for running D&D for children with special guest Ann Gregerson.
I guess that means not using Goblin Slayer as a reference.
No, fuck no. This episode, remind me so I don't forget that when we record this episode, our show today is suitable for children.
That's gonna be really fucking hard.
Yeah, we're gonna try. Just help me remember that. If you have any feedback on our tips and tricks or topics you'd like us to discuss, please send them to us. You can email them to us at critacademy@gmail.com, or you can find us on Twitter and Facebook at critacademy. Please give us a follow, a like. Oh, that's actually part of it later. Never mind.
We hope you've enjoyed your experience here at Crit Academy. If you did, you can help others find the show by leaving a, hopefully, 5-star review on iTunes or your platform of choice. Or you can just send us a message telling us how much you enjoy the show.
Also, be sure to give us a like and a share.
I want to let everyone know. In the end of February, I will be giving away a free copy of our book, and I will be choosing the winner from those that reviewed us on iTunes.
Ooh.
So let's say March. Let's say in March. Yes. In March, we will be giving away a free copy of our Unearthed Tips and Tricks book. We will be choosing our winner from our iTunes review list. So if you want a chance to win, head on over to iTunes and leave us a review. I will also be pulling it from the people. That's stupid. Why would I pick people that already bought the book to leave a review? I'm an idiot. I didn't think that one all the way through. So if you want to participate, leave us an iTunes review. Just so you know, you don't have to have iTunes and use iTunes to leave a review. You can just leave a review by going through their program. Didn't know that. I don't have iTunes, and I can do that. So I figured that out. So there you go. If you like our show and you like to support it, you can support our show for just as little as $1 a month. You can join our if you'd like to support our show, you can join our Patreon. You can head on over to patreon.com/CritAcademy or go to our website at critacademy.com and click the Patreon link. You can support our show for as little as $1. We have different tiered rewards, and you can pick which one best fits your value. I know at our copper level for $3 a month, you can watch our show live. Or you can watch all our video backlog of all of our live streams as well, which is pretty cool. So definitely check that out. You can also, Brandon also accepts commissions, full body color art and shoulder line art. You can find the prices and stuff over at our Facebook page, as well as pick up our Honor Tips and Tricks book. If you like our show, you can definitely help us out by picking it up. You can find a link from our website or on our website to DM's Guild, or go to DM's Guild and type in Crit Academy or Honor Tips and Tricks and pick up a copy of our book if you enjoy it. And if you do pick it up, please leave a review, preferably a 5-star review. If you're planning on leaving a 1-star review, don't bother. Also, make sure to head on over to our website. Make sure to subscribe to our show at critacademy.com so we can help you on your future adventures, as well as be entered every week to win cool prizes by yours that we get. Make sure to subscribe to our show at critacademy.com so we can help you on your future adventures, as well as be entered to win cool prizes each and every single week. You'll also find links to our awesome fellowship members there. Please check out our fellowship members. We got really awesome shows. We got really awesome shows. Check out Interparty. Check out Gabe and Jeff's Interparty Conflict. Every week they answer your questions and help bring you the best tabletop experience possible. Additionally, check out D&D Character Lab. Garen and Dan create new and creative characters every single week and argue their validity in game and battle it out like a couple real bards. Additionally, we've added a new podcast to our Crit Nation. It is the Brute.
I know what it is.
Brute,
It's
brute
like right
force. Here. Yeah, it's brute force and something. Hang on. I wrote it down and then I don't know what I did with the note. So, because that's how organized I am. Brute force and arrogance. Hang on a second. Messenger, where are you, Dan? I know you're on your Dan West. Go scroll up. God, he sent me a lot of shit. Also check out the Brute Force and Ignorance D&D podcast. These guys are awesome. They are hilarious, and it's definitely adult content. And a couple guys, group of guys. It's one of our first actual plays that have joined our Crit Nation. So check them out. One of our listeners, Dan West, is one of the players on there, and he's glorious. All right, did I miss anything, you guys? Fuck.
No.
All right, I am your host, Justin.
I'm your co-host, Brandon.
I'm your co-host, Ian. Thanks for listening.
Keep your blades sharp and spells prepared, heroes.
That's the best you got, bro.
Keep your blades sharp and spells prepared, heroes.
That's not bad.
Keep your blades sharp and spells prepared, heroes.
That's better. I've been practicing. How's it sound?
It's pretty close.
Is it pretty close?
You know who sounds exactly like Deckard, though?
Who's that?
Lucas.
Does he really?
Oh my god, he does.
No, they're not.
It's creepy.
Hey, thanks for joining us. We hope you enjoyed your show today, hanging out with us.
Thank you, Tater, and that one other guy.
Yeah, the one guy watching.
Probably Sam, he's just too busy.
Yeah. All right. We gotta go. I got some stuff I gotta talk about them off stream. So let's wave.
Bye.
Thanks, Tater. You have a Merry Christmas. Keep your kilt tight.
Loose. Keep the kilt loose.
Keep the kilt loose. Is that how it goes?
You want to be breezy, right?
I just farted.
Is that what that was?
Yeah. That was an eruption in my pants. See you later, buddy.
Well, it smells like a used condom.
I'm not touching.